are adoption lawyers, and they said these women will come in and say, yes, I did marijuana, I've stopped doing that, yes, I've stopped drinking, but because it's the word prescription, and because sometimes, and sadly, they had been legally prescribed this junk, they don't think it can hurt their unborn child. So we have doctors involved in our legislative task force, we have the FMA, we have OBGYNs, we have neonatologists, we have the Nurses Association, we have social workers, we have everybody, because it's got to be a team effort. So hopefully, give us a year on that, and we're going to do everything in our power to stop that problem as well. I could go on and on about what we've been working on and what we will continue to work on, but I just turned my Medicaid fraud unit upside down, basically. I don't know if you guys know that yet, but you know, Medicaid fraud, we're ground zero in South Florida, and that's costing you, the taxpayers, a fortune. And so I did an audit of that unit, and we have some great people there, but I changed management, and I'm very excited about it, because we can all sit up there in Tallahassee every day, all day long. The problem's throughout our state. So I've revamped that unit. I'm very excited about what we've done. We have a clear chain of command now, and the Deputy Director, James Mann, guess where he's going to be based? South Florida. And that's not rocket scientists. They're going to be based at ground zero, where the problem is. So we're going to tackle that. We're moving to a managed care system, so we're trying to find more forensic accountants, auditors, and we have a lot of vacancies we're going to fill that needed to be filled, because that is you're going to be hearing me talk about Medicaid fraud a lot, because that's the next thing we can tackle. The hardest part when I took this job, I said it was like drinking out of a fire hose. You want to do everything at once, and you can't. But I have a great staff. I have an incredible staff. I have great lawyers who work for me, and we are dedicated to continuing to work for you and do everything we can. And as I promised so many of you, I wouldn't be standing up here right now if it weren't for so many of you in this room. And my door is always open to you. Whatever I can do, let me know. Watching the Republicans destroy each other. And so Scott Pruitt, my counterpart in Oklahoma, Ken Cuccinelli, my counterpart in Virginia, and I moderated a presidential debate with Governor Huckabee. Even the LA Times and the New York Times called it the most substantive debate. We set our ground rules. They were. And this was when I think we had 6 or 7 of them in the race with us. You say your opponent's name, you lose your time. You criticize your opponent, and you're kicked out of the debate. So we had such a great debate. Got to learn a lot about what our candidates stood for in a very positive way, and then to get positive feedback from liberal newspapers, I think was very good, and that's why we're trying to change the face of these debates, because it just wasn't fair that Obama was just sitting there doing nothing, and we're just taking each other out, and now we are unified, and that's what's so very, very important. And as I said before, I am one of Governor Romney's surrogates. I think there's 6 or 7 of us in the country, so I travel with him in Florida, and Romney, who I just think the world of, and just don't get me going on all these comments about Juan Williams. That was ridiculous. Did you hear what Juan Williams said? Oh, he said she's nothing but a corporate housewife. Yeah. And she's far, far from. And Hannah and I have talked about it again since that comment. She's done more for inner city kids than really anyone. She's unbelievable. She's not only raised by boys, she's managed a household. I don't have to tell you. I mean, she's an amazing woman. And I think Mitt's joked and said, I think he's scared they were going to nominate Ann instead of him. So I just can't handle that. But I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Governor Romney, if I could, because I am one of his surrogates, if you don't mind. And I am the statewide chairman and the national co-chairman, I think, of Women for Mitt. I don't know, I'm on so many committees, but Women for Mitt, and that's very important. And because we have to get the women's votes. And I know they have Women's Wednesdays in Hillsborough County where you can go in at lunchtime, even for working women, go in, make phone calls, spread the word, because that's something that's very important to the campaign as well. And I can tell you, no one is more pro-women than Mitt Romney. His lieutenant governor was a woman. His chief of staff was a woman. He put women in high places in all of his management positions. And he absolutely adores his wife, and I think his wife controls the household. No, I'm joking there. As you can tell, I adore his wife. So. But no, and just don't get discouraged at all, because, that now you're hearing the liberal media saying, oh, the polls are tightening, and Obama's that's expected. We just had the DNC. So, that's expected. So do not let that discourage you. If anything, let it encourage you to get out there, because we have got to win this race. We as attorneys general have seen it firsthand, because we're having to fight Washington and the liberals like Pelosi, left and right. And that's what's really so frightening. So look what President Obama and his liberal allies have done in the last 4 years. Imagine if he is reelected with there would be no safeguards because he can't run again for reelection. Talk about a loose cannon. What would he do? What would happen to our country then? And it really, really does. I'm not an alarmist. It scares me to death, though, really, the direction in which our country is going. So it is imperative that we get 85% of our fellow Republicans out to vote. We have got to. And that's where you are so necessary. You are the activist. You are the people who can make a difference. You can get your neighbors who are too tired to get out and vote to get out and vote. Every single vote is going to count in this election, as it always does. We're also working to get persuadable universals to vote, meaning people that are more likely to vote for Mitt Romney than Barack Obama, and some of these groups include Latinos along the I-4 corridor. First of all, we've got to win Florida. You know that. Governor Romney is it. We're a red state. We've got to go back to and being all over the state, traveling all over the state, I have not seen such an enthusiasm. I went to the convention 4 years ago when I never dreamed I'd run for any office, which is kind of funny. But I was at the convention in Minneapolis, and I did not see the enthusiasm that I see now. And so I think that's very, very important. But Latinos along the I-4 corridor, and that's very, very, very important, because we all know if you win the I-4 corridor, I think that's how I got elected. You win Florida. Rural Democrats. These are voters in the Panhandle and around Lake Okeechobee who have been highly dissatisfied with present administration. And my dear buddy Adam Putnam, our Ag Commissioner, he's been working very hard in those areas. And speaking of my cabinet, we're really blessed here in Florida. We're so blessed to have a Republican-controlled House, a Republican-controlled Senate. I think it's just going to be great with Don Gates as our Senate President and Will Weatherford. Watch him, guys. He is a rising star as our Speaker Designate. And then I have my great fellow cabinet members, Jeff Atwater, Adam Putnam, and of course Governor Scott. And Governor Scott wanted me to tell you that he is in Jacksonville today. I talked to him. He is going around the state doing a tour of schools, a listening tour, and he will be in Madeira Beach, and it's my fault he told me which day, and I don't remember. But he will be here in Pinellas County this week, and he wanted me to let you all know that. I'm sorry, I don't recall which day he said, but I'm sure it'll be in the newspapers. So if you could come out and support him on that, that would be great. Another area are Jewish Americans, and the campaign's working very hard to reach out to those voters who have been dissatisfied with the Israel platform by the Democrats. Let me tell you, I've already been to Israel. I went on a diplomatic mission to Israel. I got to sit in Shimon Peres's home, and when I was there, Bibi Netanyahu was here while President Obama was giving that 67 Green Line speech, which was ridiculous. We have a president who, you have to be in Israel to I think, especially the dynamics of what he was trying to do and their platform. And I don't know how many Jewish folks we have in the room tonight, that we clearly have a president who is more concerned about golfing and having fundraisers than going to Israel. You know, when he says, I'll go to Israel next term, that's a joke. Israel's one of our greatest, strongest allies in the world, and we have got to stand with it. And lastly, and I bought Greg, my better half, a t-shirt. He's wearing it. I think he's had 200 people ask him where he got this t-shirt. It says, the government didn't build my business, I did. I got it done at the convention if you saw these shirts. I think I've watched that thing 10 times already, but he's been wearing that shirt. And but that really is the mindset of Barack Obama and his liberal allies and Pelosi and etc. That their mindset is that they believe that we work for government. And they really believe that, though. And it is the other way around. And that man firmly believed, he meant what he said when he said he built, you know, the business, not the business owner. And that was so insulting to so many people around the country. And but I can tell you that government works for us. It's not the other way around. We work for you. And if you don't like us, get us out of office. And that's what you've got to do in November. You have got to vote this man out of office and elect Mitt Romney as President of the United States, because we are accountable to you and no one else. And that's why we ran for that's why most of us ran for office of the Republicans. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for having me here tonight. I've got to run. I'm actually later. I've got a call with all my other Republican attorneys general. We stay in constant communication because we have to now. We have to join forces and we have to sign on to briefs that other ones write because it's got to be a team effort to protect our states and to protect our country. So thank you all again and keep up the hard work. And